These deals weren't knee-jerk reactions. We looked at the last, essentially the last 7 or 8 games since we lost Clefbaum and Russell, and we'd given up, after following the Colorado game, we gave up 31 goals in 7 games and 1 win. So knowing that, seeing how in the last 2 of the last 3 games we've given up over 40 shots a game, so it was, we felt it was imperative that we shore up our defense right now at this critical juncture in the season. Since with the information we know on our injured players, we felt it was time to bring in some established defensemen. Understand the feedback that these aren't top 4 defensemen, but they are good, solid defenders. They both defend hard. They both move well, and it was something we felt we had to do at this point in time. These are 2 players that are going to come in and are going to help our D shore up our D. So that was the rationale behind it. As far as trading a player like Drake Caggiula, he's a player that we signed out of North Dakota as a free agent. He's showing signs of coming around a little bit, but we felt that this was something we had to do, and these are defensemen that we needed, and he had to be in the deal. As far as Manning not playing in Chicago, he was a little bit of a victim of circumstances with respect to the coaching change. With regard to the Manning-Connor stuff, I spoke with Connor last year. We were speaking with Philadelphia on acquiring Brandon Manning, and I pulled Connor aside and I asked him if he had a problem with this, and he said no. He said, in fact, he thinks the player would help us. So I wanted to make sure last year. I did not speak with Connor this year. I told him in advance that we had made the transaction.
Look at Manning specific. What do you see that he's going to do better than what Kevin Gravel brings you? Because if you just look at the depth chart, he's kind of going to be battling with him on your left side.
Well, that's where I respectfully disagree with you. He's an established player in the NHL. He's a good, solid defender. He can make some offensive plays. So I think from the offensive perspective, you're going to see more. He's played longer in the league, and he's meaner. Kevin's done well for us, and this is about bringing in some players that can help our defense now. And it doesn't mean we're not out of looking for a higher end D. We've dipped into our LTI money, so we've went above and beyond right now. We'll still continue to look. Our owner's given us the ability to dip into the LTI monies, which we have. But I mean, it's a fair question, Jason. But he's got more experience in the league, and he's shown he can do more at this point. That's our evaluation on him.
What do you think you can get out of Manning that Chicago wasn't? He'd been a healthy scratch a lot and was having trouble getting any sort of traction there. Do you have intel? Is there something there you think you can get more of?
Well, I think just from 30,000 feet and seeing what was happening there, once the new coach came in, Dahlstrom played. Okay, rightly or wrongly, that's what happened. Brandon Manning had a good year last year, and he's a third pair D. Okay, he's a third pair D, and he's got an edge. He's got a little bit of offense to his game. He defends well. So that's the book on him, and what makes us think that there's a bit of a change of scenery aspect here, but we felt that he'd help our group.
I know Drake hasn't scored in his last 7 games, but he's still a guy who has 7 goals, and he has the 4th most goals amongst forwards of the last year and a half on your team. You just don't have a lot of other guys who have produced in a year and a half. So to throw him in the deal, was that difficult for you? Because especially when a guy that you're acquiring, you're adding to your payroll for next year.
Anytime you make a trade with a player that you have time for, like with Drake, it's difficult. We felt that we wanted to work from the back end out right now with this problem, and we feel that it's incumbent on the other players to continue to pick up the slack. So yeah, it's difficult, Jason, sure, but those numbers are telling. 31 goals against in 7 games, 1 win. We have to fix that. And knowing what we know about our injured players, injured defensemen, it was time to do something.
So does that mean Chris Russell's not that close to coming back?
I'm not going to comment on that. He's relatively close. Yeah. When Clough went down, it was like, oh boy, we got to get on a horse now, and it takes time. And it's not to say that we weren't fishing in bigger water.
The price is in that range. At this point, to what you've seen, I assume it's just to try and bring in that type of impact defenseman.
They're not out there right now. They're not out there. They might be out there. They might be out there shortly, but right now it's too early in the season for them to be out there.